At the very tallest tower of the very tippy top of Bluebell, a man rushes to a meeting. His phone went off in the middle of the night, a long day of searching, exerting himself and those around him to try to find an item that went missing. He got the call from one of his bosses, not even one of his bosses, one of his boss's bosses. A call from the very top to go to the very top. He struggles his way up those many, many tempos and arrives at the very, very pinnacle of Aranea HQ. He strides into the room. So, the man, normally with an insidious and almost deranged glare, casts it around the room, eyes rolling, taking in the sights. You called? He takes a step forward and something on the far side of the room begins to stir. A rotund creature tips its head around, an ugly, bushy beard on its face, eyes deep set, and it appraises the man. And it says,
Stanblue? Is that you? I can't see!
Yes, sir.
Good news, Stanblin! You just stumbled out of your job!
What? He freezes. The words impacting his head. What? Hold on. Stumbled out of my job?
Yes, you did. You've made a terrible mistake, Stanblin. Just awful.
He casts his gaze around the room, trying to find any sort of reprieve, his eyes fixating on a figure in the far corner. Head down, features pointed inwards. Focused on the paperwork he always keeps with him that he can't ever seem to get away from. He focuses on this figure. This person looks up, makes eye contact for but a second, and says,
Yeah, you really screwed up.
He freezes. Hold on. These two CEOs, the very most important people in all of Aranea, on the left, an imposing figure of 4'9", a positive potato of a man, ancient and hunched, sits the CEO of security, the head of all those who try to protect peace within Aranea, Harold. And to his right, rapier thin and with a gaze to match, eyes penetrating through the darkness, sits the captain of Coin, the head of the treasury, Corvo. Both cast an imposing aura throughout the room. Harold, one of almost gross, treacly jam that exists in the air. The type of aura that eats away at you. Something gross, almost like a smog in the air. And on the other hand, Corvo sits there. Something quiet, reserved, but that punches through the darkness in even amounts. Stamblin looks around for any sort of reprieve. Hold on,
Yes?
So, maybe I didn't understand your wording.
Maybe not.
My job?
Stamblin, come here. Take a seat on the floor.
He looks around at the ground in front of him. The rug that Harold specifically had pulled into this room for his personal use. He looks down at, okay, he sits down on the rug.
Not on my rug, I said on the floor.
He quickly shuffles over and rests on the cold marble floor.
He notices Harold seems to be writing something. It's his pocketbook. It's a special pocketbook he got ordered from the top. It's one that seems to have executive orders inside of it that could just kind of be peeled away at a moment's notice. He makes a lot of them. He seems to sign one in big letters and then puts his signature in the bottom. And then he smiles.
Something for you to understand.
He hands it over. It says, "You are incompetent," signed Harold.
He looks down at the lettering. Incompetent. It pierces to his soul. He scrambles to his feet. Okay, I'm incompetent, but I can do better. I can solve this. You know, I can get it back. I don't need to lose my job, right? Looks over at Corvo pleadingly.
Unfortunately, it's all about, well, you're costing us a lot of money. There's very little profit in this anymore.
It's not about profits. It's about controlling losses. He puts his finger up and tries.
Exactly. It is about controlling losses. Why don't we go over that, shall we? So, not only did you take soldiers from other squads and command them to do, which means that they get double pay. You got the Red Knight. You did a lot of property damage. You destroyed our train network. You let loose a Chimera, which was still under... It was still being researched.
He's stumbling backwards as Corvo basically picks away at the paper in front of him, only directing half of his attention and an occasional glare up to the man. But that split second of eye contact is enough to send a shiver down the man's spine.
Not to mention, we don't have any prisoners, so that we can't interrogate where these thieves came from.
That is not my fault. That is not my fault at all.
You're the commander of this mission.
Okay. I guess I'll pack up my desk.
Oh, yes. Yes, you can leave, Stamblin, and you can never come back, too. Aranea doesn't like incompetence. I don't like incompetence, Stamblin.
He stops and he turns. Yeah, I'll go then. I'll go. Have a good...
And one more thing, Stamblin.
Huh?
Don't forget to hand your badge to the next person coming.
He takes a step forward, the cold air of freedom braced against his face. He sprints out of the room, the perfectly air-conditioned room, mind you, and out into the night air. There's a second of silence, followed by a loud, resounding bang. And then, as if on cue, someone else wanders into the room.
Hi there, I'm Alphonse Augenblick. I'm told I'm in charge now. I shot the bum that you told to hand that badge off to me.
Alphonse, welcome, Alphonse. Oh,
I thought
yes.
you died. I thought I went to your funeral. Was that not your funeral?
Oh, no, that was another herald. The 17th one I've outlived now.
Well, I'm glad you're still among the living, friend.
Whenever a herald dies, you put him in the ground and he sprouts a new one.
Just like potatoes.
They are to herald a new herald.
Hey guards, while they catch up, can you please check on that guy? He actually was supposed to be able to move.
No, wait, hold on. I want one of you to do something different.
What? They freeze!
Eeny, meeny, miny, you, he points to the guard on the left. I want you to, just go outside and name every shrub in a half-mile radius, please. Don't come back until you have a nice, happy, extended family to introduce me to.
Good use of troops, Alphonse. I approve.
Make slow eye contact.
I guess do that, and the other one, take him to the infirmary, okay?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I guess I got the easier job. The first guy says running out and dealing with the gunshot wound.
The second guard is just shaking his head.
So, Alphonse, I'm so excited for you to finally get an upper command position. I've been waiting for an excuse for, 6 months now.
Well, thank you for thinking of me, Harold. Alphonse walks over here and kind of kicks back on this table, leaning back over Corvo's paperwork.
Excuse me. Please
Yes?
get off my paperwork.
You might want to just take a different seat, but... All right, I'll be nice. He goes over here, sits on that table, and kicks his feet up on Corvo's paperwork.
Corvo begins to do mental calculations of exactly where this man ranks. Corvo is so many ranks ahead of him, but the fact that he's under Harold's direct command makes every proper nerve in Corvo's body just twinge.
Great. Yeah. That's great. There's 2 of them. Great. That's fantastic. Gets right back to the paperwork.
Harold kind of leans happily, putting his feet up on the table as well. No shoes, just bare feet up on the marble table as he kind of picks at his teeth a bit before talking to Alphonse.
Yeah. Yes. Alphonse, your mission. I almost forgot.
Oh, yes, I suppose that's an important thing to know.
Supposedly, yes.
He looks...
You're to take everyone, every asset we have at Aranea, anyone you can, tanks, an automata, weapons, copters, anything you need to go after this UHS.
Excuse me.
All of it, all the money
Time
you
out,
need in your...
please.
What?
We just lost a lot of money on the last incompetent guy. And I'm sure you 2 know each other, but I'm not ready to write another blank check. Please.
Are you the money guy? Are you my cash money captain?
I'm not your cash money captain. I'm the cash money captain.
Well, you're a cash money captain. Just know that I'm not incompetent, okay? I'm going to get this done, whatever this is, and I'm going to need a nigh infinite supply of mooks to make it happen.
No.
Oh, yes, of
You
course,
can get
no
some.
problem.
I write, I'm pulling off another executive order off of my executive order checkbook and sign a right by Harold himself to any enlisted soldier that sees this right, any officer.
You can take his soldiers, not everybody's. Okay?
Oh, but you know what you can take? You
What?
should set up your base in the town of Bounty. Plenty of soldiers doing nothing down there.
Bounty.
Yes, it sounds like a good
No.
location for a secret
Yes.
base.
No.
Can it be secret? Can we keep it a secret?
Oh,
Don't
of
tell
course,
anyone
a
about
secret
this.
base.
No, Bounty is
So,
where
sorry, what was my mission again? I feel like we skipped over that.
Oh, no. The UHS. I had mentioned it. You're going to retrieve it from a group
right.
of rambunctious children.
Well, I do love beating up children.
You and me both, Alphonse. You and me both.
I hate them and absorb their youth like a vampire. I absorb their youth also like a potato.
Another CEO is there, Leia. Just ignore him. Just do what you want.
Look, Leia is doing some incredibly important research, okay?
Yeah, like
I
what?
can't disclose what it is, but he is rehoming a lot of
mysterious.
people. It is extremely important.
So this one person
highly
you don't want
profitable.
me to send to their death?
Yes, this one person and their personal guard. The rest of them I
I'll
don't
think
care,
about it.
okay? Don't think about it.
Okay, fine. For you,
Please.
what was your name?
Corvo.
Corvo, for you, I will do this one thing.
He rests back up on the desk, and as if on cue, as he impacts, a phone begins to go off immediately next to Harold.
Huh? He picks it up, listens.
Yes, hello?
Did you hear a good joke?
Yes. Of course, I'll let him know.
Harold, finishing laughing, puts his phone back on the table, and he turns to Alphonse, and his expression kind of switches. Any bit of humor seems to just disappear as he speaks once more.
You have a very special friend that seems to have taken an interest in you.
Ooh, who is this secret admirer?
Why don't you meet him yourself?
You hear a thunk on the far side of the door. As you stride towards the opening, it slowly creaks open. A form barely contained by the frame.
Red Knight.
Somebody wanders into the room.
Red Knight!
You spend some time in the woods watching the sky, and you head back with an almost melancholic silence hanging over the group. It's dark. You decide it's probably a little late today to do any woodland exploration. This, however, doesn't stop Velvet from the second you arrive
Speak
at Crossroads
for yourselves.
again, taking off in a direction. However, the rest of you have tasks to complete. Atticus immediately wanders into Jillian's shop and gets to work on something. And Celine, finding herself alone, or more or less alone with her traveling companion, crawls up to the roof of the restaurant and just sits down looking up in the night sky. You sit with Sprout braced in your lap, looking up at that twinkling expanse. It is different seeing the stars here than in
Snowdrop.
Snowdrop. There's a certain clarity to the countryside that you can't get in the city, and you're starting to sort of appreciate that now. You have a quiet moment almost to reflect on how far you've exactly come from home, and a sense of nostalgia begins to build in your gut, but a sense of contentment for the now.
Celine just kind of rubs Sprout's little head, avoiding the crab as best as she can.
I don't know about you, little buddy, but it's gonna be kind of sad to leave here. I know it's only been a day, but it's a refreshing change of pace.
Sprout scribbles down quickly. I like our new friends.
Aww.
You know, I do too. I also appreciate that they're very patient and willing to give not only 1 or 2 chances, but 3 with me, so that's nice.
As you say the word chances, you think back to all the times you messed up over the last day.
Yeah.
And like, it was a few, but no big deal. It seemed like it was all water under the bridge almost immediately, but things weren't exactly always that way. Your fingers drift up to an ugly mark on your back, immediately off center, pressed up against your shoulder. And you start to remember memories of your new friends and your new life are swept aside as you're dragged away into the past, and you start to reflect on a less comfortable topic. It was, botched job is the easiest way to describe it. Rule number 1 is never return to the scene of a crime, especially when the scene of the crime is swarming with, well, police. However, for some reason, you were drawn back to that same mansion. Something about it kept calling your attention. You'd wandered past again and again, smell in the air of some sort of acrid berry that you weren't exactly familiar with. Some ugly thing that these rich folk decided to decorate their lawn with. It turned 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. You continued to wander past. You were looking for any other mark that night, but this house that you'd visited formerly, it kept calling you, and you didn't know why. You'd made a big score. Your cohort were pretty pleased with your actions, but you couldn't leave it alone. So you wandered past, and finally it clicked. What was wrong? The police weren't there. In fact, nobody was there. You wandered across the threshold, almost in a panic. The shrubbery seeming larger, uglier, twisted colors of vibrant blue and purples. You charged the mansion, and it all set in at once. Despite being in the same location, despite this being the house that you'd robbed not 2 nights earlier, it was different. It was all different. Everything inside had changed. Corridors connected to different places you wandered through following a stench. That same ugly smell. The scent of berries and something else. You wandered deeper into the household. Not a sign of life. The shadows seemed to extend, chasing you as you walked. And there you found it. And in that moment, you let your guard down and made your first and most vital mistake. Cold sweat begins to bead and worm its way down your face. you take a look around, and you're not there. This isn't Snowdrop. This is somewhere far, far away, and you're staring up at a far different sky.
And then she pulls out a small pocket watch, shakes her head and puts it away because it's not the right one. It's the one that she took from Bluebell. And she pulls out an old, super crappy looking one. It kind of has difficulty popping open, and on the inside there's a clearly broken watch. And there is an inscription on the left of the opening that just says, "Forget yesterday, enjoy today."
Thanks, Papa.
You feel a tap on the side of your arm. You see the words on the board. Am I your papa?
So Celine gets a weak smile. Oh my gosh, no. She just like slowly spins you around and looks at you.
You are not. You are many things. But you know what? I bet you'd like my Papa.
Oh my god, Sprout, you can't just ask someone if you're their papa.
Celine, the cool air of the crossroads sort of brings you back to the present, and Sprout is a reminder that things have changed, at least for now. This tiny dumpling of a creature certainly wasn't in your life a while back. In fact, his appearance in your life signaled a whole bunch of changes that led to right now. And, almost in the lamest way possible, context comes and slams everything back into perspective.
Sorry, I kind of got lost in thought there, little buddy. Well, what do you want to do? The night is, well, morning, basically now.
Just kind of looks around.
Sprout, steadies himself to stand up, looks around, looks at Velvet.
Sprout, you notice, you watch Velvet bend down to pick something up. It looks like a rock, and she just eats it.
Sprout points over to Velvet.
When Celine turns, Velvet's not there anymore.
What'd you see?
Sprout stops for a second, looks back, jots down Velvet.
What?
She like puts her hand up to her eyes to like kind of make little binoculars.
You little rascal, you lying to me? I don't know why you would.
You take a look at the wood, Celine. You're good at tracking people. You can tell where people have been and haven't been, and there is like no sign of anything in those ones.
Yeah, she ate her tracks.
Yeah, no. Sprout, I don't know if Sprout would find this weird, but like the way Velvet moves in the dark is like, it's like a dead leaf on a stream. Like it just kind of glides and floats in weird directions and doesn't really interact with anything. Not that Sprout would find that notable. Eating a rock, though.
Sprout, as you watch Velvet disappear into the darkness, you hear a ruckus from immediately below you as someone sort of stumbles out from the building, like looks around, sees no one, stops, turns. Huh.
Hi, Delphi.
What? She turns around and looks like around, looks under herself and then straight up. What are you doing up there?
I just...
Sprout shows the board that's too far away to see what's on it.
Squints.
Celine reads the board. What does it say?
It just says very small text, hi.